I really liked playing 4 minutes. 4 minutes, it was the 4 minutes to the world. That was a really fun song to play, and I think that everyone had a really good time with that. Just so like Neck, you said Neck.
Neck really is awesome.
Yeah, it was a very good pump up song. I think the
band is playing it a lot more now.
Love that. Yeah. Yep.
It was like used to be like third or fourth quarter when we were winning kind of thing. Now it's like let's get it out now before we're losing. Let's go and play.
It was also fun to play tag in the stands. Now the students have really started to pick up on the dance motions on that. That's been really.
And the first time we did shout with the holding up. The first time
third quarter shout. Yeah.
Third quarter shout was fun. Yeah.
Everyone really liked that in the stands too.
Yeah. I think the quads have plenty of fun visuals that will remain unspoken about.
We had 2 sets of visuals. The ones that you did practice, and then the ones you did again. No, we tried to do, because we didn't get to move as much, we tried to do a lot of fun visuals that we made a mix of like small visuals that you really could only see if we were, in arcs or if you were, close to the drum line. And then bigger visuals for on the field that, would have an effect you could see from the stands.
My favorite was always the rock out. When we were standing still, like we did it almost every show. There was a moment where we'd play some song and it get really loud at the end, and we're playing like something really simple, and it just like jamming around like this, just doing whatever, just kind of freestyling.
Snares.
Those were always my favorite part.
The snares.
That was my favorite part. The rock out part.
I really did like the drill from pregame. I thought that was always a lot of fun because it was sprinting out and it was doing some crazy circles and who knows what else we were doing. And then all of a sudden the rest of the band comes out and you could tell the moment the band came out, then the crowd would pick up again. Mm-hmm. So we did have. I really liked that drill.
Pregame was my favorite. I enjoyed pregame a lot. Yeah. But from that specific Gator Bowl, I had 2 memories. One was right before the game started, the drumline got to do our Blue Devil-esque drum solo in front of on their little miniature field on the side. That was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
And then the night before the bowl game, all the drumline went out to mini golf together, and we all played. Alan was out there. We all came together at the end, and Alan told us he loved us.
After he forced us, so we was like, everyone's going and everyone's gonna have a good time. People were like, I don't want to go mini golfing. And he was like, yeah, you do. You're gonna go mini golfing. So I'll show up. And at the end, we had a blast. Everyone had a blast.
We had a great time.
So that was definitely a good time.
My one and only bowl game memory.
Well, I also got to go to Nashville, and that was my first experience. I had been with the band and it'd been very cool getting to have all those experiences. But then, when I showed up for the bowl game, like, here's your bowl game present. It's like, you're gonna give me a present to come out for the Music City Bowl. We got duffel bags and a sweatshirt. We went line dancing in Nashville, and as a member of the drum line, I knew all the drummers ridiculously well, but I didn't know the rest of the band members very well. There's a few people in particular that everyone knew. I mean, who did not know Rodney Jones, or there's definitely some people that.
It was Rodney, Erica.
Yeah, there's some, but so we go line dancing in Nashville, and we were told that other marching bands here too. This entire place is just your 2 marching bands upstairs. So go mingle, meet some people. I was petrified of talking to anybody because I was afraid they were going to be in our marching band. I was like, I'm going to go walk up to somebody and be like, hey, I'm Taylor, I play drums. They're going to be like, I know, I stood next to you in pregame. Like, this is awkward. So we ended up going line dancing the entire time. We actually went out there and had a blast line dancing, but we didn't get to meet anybody from the other band.
We just did. Gator Bowl, we just went to the Universal.
We did. That
before Harry Potter.
That was disappointing.
That's okay.
We did a battle of the bands in the streets.
I'm jealous.
And then tune out for a little bit because it was pretty cool.
I know, it was cool.
There were people in the parking deck that had lined up to come watch this. And when they first described it to us, it's like, oh, it's going to be probably a big intersection. It was a small intersection. It was a little T. And we had to do our drum solo in a 2-lane street that you couldn't fit 5 people. You couldn't fit the quad line across, let alone the entire drum line.
This is the same Virginia Tech drum solo.
Yeah, and it was so discombobulated. They were like, look, it's not going to be pretty, and it's going to be cramped. Just make it work when you're out there. We don't even know how wide it's going to be, so you don't even get to practice. You just have to go out there and kind of do it. It ended up working out just fine in a really weird kind of way. We ended up having 2 lines instead of 1 and all that kind of stuff. But right before we went out there, we actually, the entire band crammed in this parking lot next to a restaurant. And we said, okay, instead of doing regular warm-ups, we're going to go full UVA. We're going to do I think it was the Hay song, or was it Virginia Hail All Hail? You weren't there. You don't know. It was one of those songs that had like really strong chord progressions, and usually you don't get to really hear them because it's a lot quicker. And we went through and played like it was the loudest sound that I'd ever heard because we were squeezed in between these buildings. We had all these fans, over on the outsides. And that was like when it finally hit me. It's like, we're in this bowl game. This is, the big party at the end of the year that the football team, gets to have, and we get to not only participate in it, but actively be a part of it. And that was really cool. Sorry.
But I'll grow.
I think a lot of people do. The year before I joined, Alan told a story about keeping the beat. So if you're going down a mountain and you're riding a donkey, also known as a burro, B-U-R-R-O-W, if you lean too far forward, then it's gonna stop or it's gonna throw you off. Like it's just not gonna work out. If you lean too far back, you're just gonna fall off the end. So you have to just sit right in the middle of the beat. Sometimes you can go forward a little bit, speed it up. You can lean back a little bit, slow it down. But it's a balance. You gotta find that balance. So one of the cadences we played was called Ride the Burro. And no one knew my name when we came in. There was a few select people that knew what my last name was when I first came in. So that was a big joke. But it was fun. Then it became, okay, well, we're going to play the burro. And I was like, yeah, it's named after me. But it was not. Yeah, I started the drumline house.
Yeah, Taylor's idea.
It was my idea. We went to Pitt my second year, your first year. We had a game at Pitt, and somehow there was some connection. Someone in our drumline knew someone who knew someone who knew someone in the Pitt drumline. And the Pitt drumline invited us over. They said, after the game, why don't you guys just come over? We have a house. We call ourselves the Crew. We'd love to hang out with you guys. So we finished the game. We all shower. We meet in the hotel lobby. And
cabin out there.
This guy pulls up. A few guys pull up. They come in. They introduce themselves as members of the Crew, and they gave us the address and said, hey, just grab some cabs, come on over. We can go ahead and take a few people in our car now. So I climbed into this strange guy's car in Pittsburgh, and we drive to the drumline house. And it was fantastic. They had food and Guitar Hero.
That's right, Lance. I think Lance he came back way late.
Lance Mershicki did not show up until the wee hours of the morning because he was destroying the Pitt drumline in Guitar Hero.
Is that where you got the idea for the drumline house, like originally?
You know what? I think that is where I got the idea for the drumline.
We didn't start talking about it until way after the first game of the season.
Yeah, that's where we got the idea for it, because it was the Crew house, and the Crew was known for throwing parties that the entire school came to. It wasn't just band parties. It was, they were kind of like a fraternity. And so that's when we were like, it would be really fun to have a house like that. We could have our own fraternity house kind of thing. We discussed about forming a drumline fraternity as well, but then we ended up just sticking with the house. That was more than enough.
We're not that pretentious. We're not gonna call ourselves the Crew.
But it was a lot of fun. Actually, I'm still friends on Facebook.
With one of the guys on Pitt talking about Go Pitt.
Griffin Butt.
Griffin Butt.
I don't know how to remember that.
That's right. It's spelled like B-U-T-T.
Yeah.
Like the butt.
It was that was a lot of fun getting to meet them, and it was the first time I think that we had seen another drumline be good friends, not just a drumline together. And we, our drumline had been very close, but we saw that and was kind of like, hey, we can live together. This is okay. We can survive like that. When I was living at Lambeth, everyone was talking about, oh yeah, I'm getting a house with a bunch of friends, over here, over there, and I knew I wanted to live in a house. I didn't want to stay in the Lambeth housing, even though it was very close to the band. I had almost all of my classes over in Cavalier, and it was just so far for me. And so I remember I talked to a few of the drummers. I talked to you about it. I talked to just a few of them and say, hey, would anyone be interested in getting a house? And I said, yeah, I might. So I got a group of 5 of us together, and we went and started just looking around at a few places, and then a house opened up right behind the ground. We said, okay, we're going to have to get this. So it started off with
it's the Yellow House.
Yeah,
Yellow House
the
Valley.
Yellow House.
No, not Valley.
Oakhurst. It was Oakhurst. There's 5 of us that lived in the bottom of this house. This house had like 4 or 5 different apartments. And so we move in, and then the landlady said, well, if you know anyone else that wants to move in, there's, a place upstairs that I'm trying to rent out. And some of the other drumline girls had been looking for a place to move in, so they moved in up top. And then I believe now they've taken over the entire house, all of the apartments.
Oh, they sell the entire house?
I'm pretty sure that
I know that the Yellow House is still a drumline house.
Yeah, so they've taken over a little bit more. And so then the next year...
That's cool that we started that.
Yeah, the next year I wanted to move into my sorority house, and you were moving into your fraternity house. So a new bunch of drummers came in and moved into the house. And then I said, you know what, let's make another drumline house right around the corner from there. So I talked to a few people and drummed up interest for that. And then moved in just a few houses down from Oakhurst at the Shire.
I don't know if that's still going or not.
I don't know if it is.
I know the Yellow House still is.
Yep.
And then, some of the decorations we put up are still up there.
Yes. It became Oakhurst as a drumline place, It's where you go, we're going to Oak to hang out. And it was very close to some of the engineering buildings as well as the college buildings. And so you're just sitting there all of a sudden, okay, here's a drumline person just showing up after class. Like, hey, let's go watch TV or come hang out. And
the worst part about that house, though, was right when we moved in, they started building the south lawn.
yes.
And they would do the project at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And you just hear.
It's like, I have to wake up for a call time at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, and why are we doing construction right now? But it was fun to be able to live with people that were in the band as well. Then you didn't have to worry about, oh my gosh, my housemates are throwing a party and I have to be up, tomorrow morning at 7, out there playing. Or
You can bring out your pads and not worry about pissing anybody off.
people are fine with me practicing. You guys are practicing the same thing. And it also gave us a chance, because Chris Gary lived with us as well, to actually work on some of the music and get better at
We
it.
had 3 guys and 2 girls.
Yep.
That one.
So Veronica and I roomed together and would work on our pieces a lot. And so it was definitely good to live with people that were going to the same things as you. You could ride together, walk together, plan things. I forgot something, can you bring it for me? Kind of things was a lot of fun. And I'm glad that they're continuing to do it. We wanted it to rain. We didn't want to have afternoon practice.
This is really what it was?
So we'll do it.
Was it your first year that was the first time they did it?
I remember Paul Novick teaching it. And gosh, I forgot about that. And so this is what you do. You like this.
It was all by rote, like just randomly.
Yes. And so then I don't really remember it happening. It just kind of happened. It was after the game. It was like, they were like, okay, drums cannot be set down on the field. We need to keep the field in good condition. Drums need to be set down on the side of the field. So while we have this discussion, set your drums down on the side of the field. No going on the field any more than necessary. It's like, we have something necessary to do on the field right now. Like, by the time they get out there to get us off the field, we're going to be done anyways. So that became the drumline tradition.
So Paul Novick taught it to you all because they didn't want rain.
It's a rain dance.
That's cool.
It's a drumline rain dance.
The key to it is that when you're done, you walk away like it never happened.
Because it's embarrassing. It's all get out.
Because it's a terrible thing that we do.